my specialty is trying to uncover the truth of an investigation. But I do surveillance, certainly, as all investigators do.
But when class action detective, when they call you, I guess you're an independent contractor with them. You don't.
Yeah, all private investigators in Florida are.
Okay, no, they are. So nobody actually works for a.
I mean, you may work for a company for a long period of time, but you're licensed by the state of Florida. Okay, but if this company wants to hire me this week and somebody else wants to hire me next week, that's fine. You're not bound. By any one place. In some states, you are, but I believe, but not here in Florida.
As a private investigator, people have specialties. Some people are specialists in arson. Some people are specialists in domestic. What is your when they call you from class action? What is it that they need you to do on a regular basis? If you would say that, and we don't need to spend too much time on this. I'm just trying to get
just basically discover the truth on the particular case I'm working.
Okay. Do you take witness statements?
Oh, I have in the past, yeah.
Okay. So you're used to what we're doing here.
Oh, I've taken witness statements before, yeah. I've done this before, certainly.
Okay. But you primarily is, if I'm trying to read between the lines, is a guy that kind of just follows people. Surveillance.
Not necessarily.
But class action detective agency will have all the records for the last 13 years of all the work you've done for them and all the money they've paid you and all the tax information, the 1040s or whatever those W-2s are.
Well, that's the question you'd have to ask them, but I would assume that they would.
But for basically, if I wanted to get a handle on you here in Florida, most of your work has been done at the Class Action Detective Agency.
Okay.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And Alan Buchanan has been there the whole time?
Yes, sir.
And so he's. Are you all friends?
Are we friends? We're as much of friends as an employer-employee can be.
Okay. And without talking about where you live, well, I'll strike that. Let's talk about this Casey Anthony case. Okay.
That's why I came here.
When were you first engaged? Or let's try that. When did you first know anything or hear anything about the Casey Anthony case and the disappearance of Kaylee?
From television news, like everybody else, I would presume.
Okay. Do you remember when that was?
No, sir, not really.
May, June?
Well, it had been after June, probably in July sometime.
July of 2008?
Yes, sir.
So the first time you were aware of anything, you saw it on television?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you first remember?
Just hearing the news report about Kaylee missing and basically just whatever's on the news. Yeah.
Okay. Did you also see anything about that the mother was?
Oh, I heard the stories that she. I mean, just what was on the news, whatever Casey said to the news and what they reported. Like.
What do you remember hearing? That Kaylee was missing. Mm-hmm. What else?
Just the story that Casey had told to the officers in charge that she had dropped her off with a babysitter, and then when she went to go back to find her, she wasn't there.
Okay, you heard that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how did you become involved in the investigation of this case?
How did I become involved in the investigation? I didn't become involved in the investigation of the case, primarily.
I didn't understand what you just said.
I didn't become involved in the investigation part of the case.
What is your involvement in this case?
When you see people on television being harassed, okay, and nobody coming to her help except for a few people standing out in front of when you see people being picked on and threatened and hassled, and sometimes you think you just have to go down there and kind of step forward or step in and say, hey, these people don't need this aggravation. And I've been a bodyguard previously. I just thought these people need some help. I'm gonna go down there and offer my help as a citizen. I wasn't the only person who did that, by the way. Certainly.
Okay. You've been a bodyguard before?
No, yes, sir.
Who are you a bodyguard for?
Again, that's always private. That's always private.
Did they pay you to be a bodyguard?
Yes, sir.
No?
Yes, sir.
You just do free bodyguard work.
I went down there to help protect the family.
Who?
The George and Cindy Anthony.
Oh, but you said in the past you've done bodyguard work. Mm-hmm. Who have you done bodyguard work for?
There was a part of private investigations that, I didn't know how this has any relevance. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything, certainly. Just, people who hire private bodyguards, they want it to keep you private. Okay? It could have been anybody from a politician to a celebrity to a sports figure. It could have been,
So you've been a bodyguard for sports figures, celebrities, and politicians?
I may have. Again, I'm not trying to, be coy here, but, it's...
Well, if I was a bodyguard for a celebrity, I'd remember it. It wouldn't be may have. If I was a bodyguard for Oprah, I'd remember that.
Okay.
Were you a bodyguard for a celebrity? Do you have memory problems?
Maybe. Well, not the same memory. I'm old. I don't have memory problems as such. No.
Okay, because you seem to be grasping for.
Well, I don't know how this has anything to do with the case.
Well, I'm trying to establish what your expertise is and what your ultimate role is in this case, and then we can move through it fairly quickly.
My expertise in the case was nothing more than the private citizen going down there, offering the family help who was being harassed by people going down there and just picking on the family who I didn't believe deserved to be picked on.
Well, I'm going to ask you who the sports figure is that you worked as a bodyguard for.
I think maybe we should end this and I'll get an attorney because I don't remember. I'd have to go through records. We
don't need to end it. We'll just if you refuse to answer that, and I'll just certify the question and you can get an attorney for that later.
Yeah, I just don't see how it's relevant. I'm not trying to be rude or anything.
You remember, you just decide. You know who it is. You're just not going to say today, and that's fine. If but do you remember? Is your answer? I remember, but I'm not going to answer today. This is the easy part, by the way.
Well, it's I don't mind answering questions, but it seems to me it should be relevant to the case, and of which I really have no real knowledge.
Do you remember? I don't want to know the name. So, do you remember the name of the sports figure you were a bodyguard for?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but
I'll say yes.
But today you're not going to give us that name.
Yeah,
that's
it's just not.
We'll certify that.
Okay.
Do you remember the politician that you were a bodyguard for?
No. That was no.
You just don't. Did you serve as a bodyguard for a politician?
I was actually a member of the family.
So you remember the family?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to tell us who the family was, or you would like to keep that private as well?
Like keep that private.
So you're not going to answer that question?
Yes, sir.
I'll certify that. And then you also worked as a bodyguard for a celebrity. Do you remember who that celebrity was?
No. No, I didn't say it was a bodyguard for a celebrity. I said, well, no, she is this. Again, I just don't see how this is relevant to anything.
Okay, so you don't remember.
Right. Shouldn't.